Well, welcome to another episode of Buggy Reviews. Today's episode, we are going to be covering Batman Nightfall Part 1. Yes, I know, it's a trilogy, you know. Batman Nightfall is the latest animated DC project that's come out. At the time of this recording, like literally just now or 2 days ago, if you're talking to certain people with hats. Now, I've always been a fan of DC's like animation and their like movies because they've always been king at that. Like, granted, some of their projects have been kind of less than, and people have been wondering if they were going to continue doing projects. And here we are. We have been presented with the Nightfall trilogy. Like, they are dedicating an entire trilogy of films to the Nightfall storyline, the iconic storyline where we got so many things like Bane, Azrael, and all this kind of stuff happening, like Bane breaking Batman's back, all this stuff. So you know what you're getting, right? Now this is a very like condensed version, obviously, of the original storyline, but I think for anyone that's only maybe like heard the general gist of it, like they've only heard of the comic and like the events of it, you get a pretty fair, like, condensed view of it. I'm kind of shocked for what you get. It's pretty close to the source material, minus some tweaks here and there. Like, it's like, I would say about 80%, and that other 20% is usually just like a creative change or just them having to condense for time, because I don't know what it is with Warner Brothers and their animated DC movies. Like, these things are never allowed to like be longer than like 90 minutes at best. Like, they barely get like an hour-ish or so. I don't know what the rule is, but they just don't let it happen. But whatever, right? Now, obviously, the storyline, if for those unaware, is like this is the introduction of Bane. Like, this is his like first appearance ever in the Batman mythos, where you see Bane is like get his origin when he was growing up in a prison, and he's like honing his mind and his body, and then he later gets introduced to the venom that gives him like his superhuman strength, And then when he goes out and, escapes from said prison and goes to Gotham, he puts up a massive breakout at Arkham just so that way he could weaken Batman. And that's kind of like the theme of this, like, movie. It's like, what happens to Batman when he, like, runs himself ragged? Like, what happens when the guy who's always trying to help people puts that above his own well-being and doesn't accept help from others? What happens there? And of course, they already give you some history for like Batman and like what he's dealt with. Like, in this storyline, obviously Jason Todd's been dead for a long while. We got Tim Drake. Dick Grayson is like fucked up and is doing his own thing as Nightwing. We're introducing John Paul Valley, Azrael, and kind of getting him into the story. Like, there's a lot that this movie does set up for, like, the future two movies afterwards. And they do it fairly well. Like, maybe I would like to have spent a little bit more time, but it's time limit constraints, so I guess what are you gonna do? But for what it does it real well. Like, it showcases Batman is just fucking exhausted. Like, the way they draw him up is like he just like got like so many lines on his face. He looks tired. He's like cut up half the time and like still bleeding. Like, his eyes are sunken in. He is just straight up tired. I think he gets like a 5-minute power nap in the whole movie, and that's like the most he gets out of it. Like, he does not sleep, and it's like everyone's noticing. It's like even Gordon is like, "Hey, dude, you were fucking losing it a little bit, man. Like, you need to go sleep. You need to rest. But Batman being Batman is like, no, I will not rest until Gotham is safe. And we have Tim Drake, who honestly it's been crazy. We haven't had a Tim Drake pop up in anything big since, like, I want to say Young Justice, but he hasn't had a prominent role in that one at all. So it's been a hot minute, and you really get to see what makes Tim Drake be Tim Drake, because Dick was kind of like the happy-go-lucky one. Jason was kind of the arrogant cocksucker, and Tim is like the one guy who you legit could believe is a great detective. Like, he is probably one of the most brilliant minds in the Bat family, and you get to see that detectiveness. They have a whole dedicated scene that showcases, yeah, Robin's pretty good at being a detective. Like, Tim Drake is cool, like, he's smart. He can, he's witty about it. He knows his ways. All right. And of course, John Paul is in this one. It's a little more of a setup. You're kind of setting up the threads, where he was a sleeper agent, or I guess something like that, controlled by the Order Saint Dumas to be a psychotic it's like a bloodthirsty vigilante trying to kill everybody with fire blades, But Batman and Tim take him in, and they're like trying to like deprogram everything in him. But of course, there's like some issues because John Paul has a lot of like messed up things in the old noggin, and we're kind of like setting that up. The movie does a lovely theme of like really preparing the sense of dread. It's like it showcases Batman is definitely needed, and everyone is like worried what would happen if Batman is gone. It really like preps you up. It's like, because everyone's worried, they're all talking about it because they're all worried like what's going to happen. And even like with people wondering, is Batman going to fucking snap, because they have a couple of scenes where Bruce being kind of like running pretty much out of reserves because he hasn't slept for 2 whole days. He's getting a little bit slower. Certain criminals are landing more hits on him than they should be. Like, if you get hit by Catman, of all people, man, you need to take a break. You need to take a breather, take 5, take a Xanax or whatever, man, because you need to wrap that up. But, yeah. And Bane, the premier character. A lot of the times when anything brings up Bane, they kind of always just neglect to bring up he's actually a smart guy. Like, he's tactical. He is an intellectual equal to Batman. He's not just brawn. Like, if anything, he is like one of the perfect like mirrors to Batman. Like, not like in the sense of like, oh, here is Joker, he's like the other side of Batman's coin type thing. No, this would be the guy you would pick for it, Bane, because they kind of have a similar origin in the sense of they both experienced loss at a very young age, and they were forced to endure hardships, and they've honed their strengths and their mental fortitude in order to achieve their goals. And in this movie, they do get that pretty well. It's a very condensed one, but they spend a good enough time setting up the origin of Bane and like really getting you prepped up for it, which I was honestly impressed. I was not sure how they were going to handle the Bane prison like origin at all, but they did it fairly well. Granted, they had to trim off a couple of like side characters that Bane had in the original story just for time, but I think it does the job fairly well for what it is, because like, hey, where we got Bane. He's in the story. He's not just some bruiser. He's a tactical man that's wanting to like break Batman, because his whole thing is like weakness and mercy is for the weak, like life is not something it's not something given, it's something like a prize, like you gotta win that shit, and it's very interesting, and this is probably his best story because they never really give him anything else in any other media that really matches up to this caliber, because this really does showcase Bane's like intelligence, because he figures out who Bruce and Tim are. He kind of waits in the background. He doesn't really do anything that tips off his hand until it's just the right moment, and then when he shows up to kick the ever-loving piss out of Batman and then do the iconic Batbreaker moment, it's like, oh my god. And then he's not even done there, but obviously we will get more of the eventual fallout in the preceding two movies. But yeah, man, what I can really say, the animation style, love it. They clearly were wanting to replicate the designs of the original like Kelly Jones artwork, like really good stuff. Love it. I love that they gave Batman the ridiculously longer ears and the fucking Spawn like cape, I don't know, like a lot of the classic designs, they're just there. It's great. I think this is a great art style. Everything looks and moves fluid. It's all good, nice, crisp. A lot of the voice talent is pretty good. Anson Mount as Batman is good. I think he's really done well with this one. It's not his first time playing this character, but I think he's got it pretty well. Granted, we don't get a whole lot of him as like Bruce and Batman to like make much of a difference, because there's only like one scene where he kind of talks like Bruce Wayne and not as Batman, but and then we got Pablo Schreier as John Paul, who I'm kind of hit or miss. It's like I'm not sure how to feel about him. I'm more shocked that they got that actor to play him. I don't know. But Michael Mando as Bane, perfect casting. And it's crazy because he doesn't really give him like any accent or anything, and you only can tell it's Michael Mando when he starts like screaming, and it's only like very briefly that you could hear that scream, and you go, oh, I know that guy. That's the guy who played Voss in Far Cry, or he was a such and such character in Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Honestly, I'm impressed. Michael Mando, if you want to play Bane a lot more in other projects, go right ahead. You have my undying loyalty to that. Fucking good job there, my guy. I don't really have any nitpicks or anything, except maybe like the length of the movie. I wish it could have been like a proper like 2-hour film, so that way you're allowed to expand upon stuff. But again, it's probably just some Warner Brothers rule that they gotta have. But yeah, I would strongly recommend you get a hold of this movie, because if you're a fan of Batman, you're a fan of like DC animated movies, and you want something to watch for a good hour in 18 minutes, like, you can do far worse. All right, this is probably like some of the best Batman content you're going to be getting. I mean, why not, man? And I know it's crazy. I'm talking about a movie where Batman gets his back blown out by the end of it. That's crazy, right? But yeah, no, I would strongly recommend you watch this, and definitely be on the lookout for part 2 and 3, because I'm gonna be covering those when those pop up. Yeah, probably the best stuff we're getting from DC in a long time. But that's all I got for today. I will see you all on the next video. Goodbye.